I must start by appreciating the Almighty God for a beautiful day like this, giving us the privilege to wake up this morning and alive, passing through all the hurdles of high transportation, high standard of living, and we are here. To God alone be all the glory. And I also want to appreciate us, all of us seated here. I do not take it for granted. Leaving the comfort of your house, your offices, your good plans for the weekend to be here, it shows a compassionate heart. It might look little, but you won't know the impact of what you're doing here today. You're being a voice to that voiceless person with disability, ranging from the urban to the rural and the interior communities. The people you're seated here talking for and advocating for today does not even know you. You don't know them, but you're making a lot of impact. Life is a circle. You know when you came, but you do not know when you will go. Even when you came, you didn't know, I don't even know your exit. You can have all the mansions, all the wealth of this world, but the only thing you will take back to God is the impact you made in human life. What will you tell God? How many lives did you touch? How many people were you a voice to? How many people do you stick your neck to say it is for these people or nothing? I've been through a lot of challenge in life in the course of advocating for the right of persons with disability. But I count it all joy because I do not only see that as a passion, I see it as a calling, a service to God, a service to humanity. So I must say, I do not take it for granted that we are here today. We should not give up. It might look little, but even the Bible says we should not despise the days of little beginnings. We can get better. And I'm also encouraging that some of my women seated here today that can attest of the fact I've been instrumental to them starting up their own NGOs. NGO is not about making money. It's not about being identified like an executive director, but it's about the passion, the impact, the lives you want to touch, the mission and your vision in life. This is what NGO is all about. If every one of us sitting here today has an NGO and we're touching lives in one way or the other, believe you me, the world will be a better place for everybody. Because we will now come in a world that is void of discrimination and stigmatization. If we're living in a world where we see every human being as human before disability, the world will be a better place. Nobody chose to be disabled. Not even one person. If we are all asked today, how would you have preferred God to create you? I should be saying something like tall, slim, handsome, beautiful, and everything. But do you know that wherever you are today is all disability? Because you would have wished to be taller. Some would have wished to be short, some would have wished to be fat, some would have also wished to be slim. Wherever you find yourself, it's to the glory of God. So I want to say thank you once again for coming. Let's keep our heart open and keep doing what we're doing for humanity. You might see it as little, but you're touching lives. You might see it as little, but you're being a voice of that voiceless child, that voiceless woman, that vulnerable person in society who does not have a voice. That alone, like I said, a service to humanity is a service to God. Once again, we are all welcome and wish us a very happy, fruitful celebration. Thank you.
We invite the National Commission, the representative of the National Commission for Persons with Disability, to quickly give us a brief goodwill. Yes.
My name is Mimijane from National Commission for Persons with Disability from Gender and Women and Gender Units. Okay, sorry. I said that my name is from Gender and Units of National Commission for Persons with Disability. And I thought I was not told that I'm going to present anything today, but I thank God that I'm here today. Since I am a woman with disability, it concerns me. The Gender and Units Department of National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. It's also dealing with women and children with disability. In 2019, when this law was passed, the Disability Provision Act was passed into law. The commission was established so that it can promote and protect this right of women and girls with disability. So that is why we are there. National Commission for Persons with Disability are so much committed to make sure that all the rights of women and girls with disability are going to be protected. Especially this time, with this our new executive secretary, he's so passionate about this women and girls with disability cause. So I want us all to come up with anything that we know that can help women and girls with disability move forward, or these rights be implemented quickly. And we, the National Commission for Persons with Disability, we also help to see that these rights are implemented and it will reach to the grassroots. Thank you.
Inclusive education are very, these are things we are very cognizant with. And it is one thing that the Mimijane Foundation is very passionate about, providing an inclusive space for children with disability. And when you talk of children, of course, they have to be in school. And when they want to go to school, and there are things that stand in their way, these are the things we want to help and lend our voices to eradicate. And that is why, with the support of Urgent Action Fund, we wanted to look for a way to develop an inclusive curriculum, so that when these children eventually get enrolled in school, they do not get excluded because of non-inclusive curriculum. So we started by, first of all, having a needs assessment, and some of us were in that engagement forum, some of us were not, where we have vested diverse opinions on the barriers to education. We had some persons come to speak to us on what inclusive education actually is, what an inclusive curriculum actually is, and we all gave our insights. Some schools, inclusive schools were there, they gave their own insight on what the barriers are and what we think should be done. So that gave birth to what we are having today. We went back home with the expertise of an education expert, able to have or come up with a curriculum which we believe should be used to integrate in the educational curriculum, the general curriculum. Something that we, of course, the Ministry of Education is part of it. They are supposed to be here. I don't know why they're not here. With other educational institutions, something that we will come up with, that when a curriculum is being amended, these are the things that should be factored in that curriculum. Of course, the government cannot work alone. Nobody knows it all. They say these days the government is now relying on OPDs to do their work for them. No problem, we are not tired. If they need help, for the fact that they get the job done, we are ready and able to do it. So that is why we will be assisting the educational institutions, the curriculum, the department, the Ministry of Education, and inclusive skills to come up with something that will give them an insight or an outline of what they need to see in an inclusive curriculum. So the expert will be coming up to give us an outline or a draft of what he has for us. It is important that you note, you pay attention, you follow. Why? Because whatever we finalize on today, we'll be going to the Ministry of Education, we'll be going to Educational Research Institute, we'll be going to the board, Secondary Education Board, UPEB, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, WAEC, every educational institution. And note that anything we omit, of course, I'm not saying we're going to include everything, we are humans, but it is important that you make inputs, because at the end of the day, it is for us So it is not about any other person. Is for us. So with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our able educational experts who we know already, but some of you are meeting for the first time. Mr. That name is very.
Gentlemen, the Chief Executive Officer of Mimijane Foundation for Women and Children with Disabilities, and my noble colleagues in the house. My name is Comrade Bede Ochoche Anyebe. My baptismal name is John. Alright, when Madam Cynthia was trying to lead us into the draft of the teaching scheme of curriculum, she said an expert drafted it. My work is just like the work of the judiciary, with apologies to the learned friends that are in the house. My work is like the work of the judiciary that interprets the law. So, and in the education sector, we have the national policy of education, we have the curriculum, we have the scheme of work, we have the syllabus. So, as far as we are concerned, since we are talking about the academic and the content and others, this may be our constitution or our guiding principle, which is the curriculum. Now, if you look at basically what is this curriculum, a couple of weeks ago, there was an engagement, just like she said, and then now we are seeing the progress. We are moving from one point to the other positively. The curriculum does not have an acceptable definition all over the world. If a school of thought may see it as everything that happens in school. So that means that if there is stealing in school, it's part of, does that mean it's part of curriculum? Does that mean anything that is not according to the rules of the school is a part of the curriculum? Or they say the organized form of schemes that are presented to children in a learnable environment is called a curriculum. But whichever way it is, you see it, then this you see. You can see inclusive education curriculum design, modified, and this is talking about the early years. And remember, in the formation of the curriculum is not designed, cannot be designed by one person. The educational experts are there, the market women are there, traditional rulers are there, other stakeholders are there, and at the end of the day, the curriculum is formed because it has to do with the total formation of a child. And that child that is formed in school goes back to the environment, to the society, and then impacts positively on that society. And that's why if anything is wrong with the curriculum, automatically the content will be wrong, no matter the structure, no matter the facilities you are put in place. If the curriculum is deformed, then the content will definitely be deformed. So our focus here is on early years, the nursery section, the early years, the developmental stages of children. Because there is a saying that when you have not properly schooled these children, then by the time they are progressing academically, there will be issues, there will be problems. And that's why when you see in the education sector these days, you discover that somebody who has finished or graduated from the secondary school finds it difficult to express himself or herself very well. Even writing becomes a problem. So what is really the issue? Sometimes you see some children in lower primary, upper primary, the basic things of the nursery, they still have a problem. Because the foundation is not properly taken care of, then definitely there will be a problem. So the Mimijane Foundation is looking at the formation of inclusive education, curriculum for early years. And the basic focus of the early years when we talk of the nursery down before they moved into the primary one, is to ensure that the children develop basic skills. And that is why you discover that in the nursery, the planning of the nursery education, it is done in such a way that serious academic activities is reduced. Then you lay emphasis on the exercise. When the child comes home and they are telling him, write from 1 to 20. Some places you see it, write A to Z. And this child is having a problem in handling the writing material, a pencil. So certain skills need to be developed in the life of this child before serious academic activities are injected into the head of the child. Now let's go. Now the focus of this is on the letters. The conventional school system. You learn from A, is that also? After A, what do you have? B, down to Z. Some people say Z, Z. Which one is correct?
Z.
Is Z correct? So what is the difference? House. Z, you are correct. Z, you are correct. So what is the difference? The difference is that Nigeria was colonized by British. Is that also?
Yes.
And they tell us that letter is what? Z. America came and said, no, it's Z. That's the difference. It's the same thing. And that is why America, in the normal switch, you press down is to switch on. Is that also?
Yes.
They came with their own, you press it up, you switch on. They do it the opposite. So whichever we pronounce it is correct, Z or Z. But I speak British English, so it is Z. Now, after A, like that down to the last letter. But in this specialized design curriculum, the child may not necessarily have to start with letter A. And the child must not necessarily have to start with capital letters. Now, if you look at the content from the press release a couple of hours ago, you discover that we have less of capital letters. Is that not so? Everything is small letters. And when a child is taught from uppercase or capital letters, then you are stepping it down to lowercase or small letters. When you begin to build words, and then building from words to sentences or phrases, then into writing, so now you begin to discover that you begin to mix it up with more of capital letters and small letters. I don't know if you have ever taken note of that. So now, you look at it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. You have the topic there. You have the content. I don't know if it is bold enough for you to see.
It's not.
It's not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think you can manage this. Can everybody see first one, the topic, then you have the lower case. Introduction to alphabets. How many alphabets do you have there? There are 5. Is that also?
Yes.
So can we call the letters? O, Z, I, C, and X. Now, if you look at the so-called rules of letter positioning, among all these 20 letters, only 6 are crossing letters. Only 6 are crossing letters. Or we call them long tail letters or letter with long tail. We mentioned them Y. And when they are writing them in the small one, in the small form. Y, J, F, G, P. Is that also? See, every other one sits on the line. Every other letter sits on the line. And when you're writing all of them in capital letters, all of them must sit on the line. But when you're talking about the small letters, it's only those 6 that cross the line. And now, as a teacher, you want to teach writing. During our days, we had something like writing with blue lines and say red line or something. They will say, follow this. So you are able to follow. During my time, I was following it. I did not know what I was doing, but I was getting it correctly. By the time you put a child through the rules of letter positioning and you present the notes to a child, You don't need to tell the child this is how this letter should be placed on the line. He or she continues and follows the way he or she has been taught. Now you will see these letters, and there are some letters that they do not change, except the shape, like letter O. Is that also? Letter O, egg. So my son, there was a time when he started teaching me ABCD. He came back and they gave him an assignment. He said, this one is letter egg. Letter egg. I said, no, it's not. He said, no, because he was used to eggs from home, not eggs for eating. But I have birds, fowls, local fowls, that they will lay eggs and they play with them. So because of the shape. So, and then you have letter O there. You will see something like C. You see something like K and the rest of them. They don't really change. So when you are introducing a child to these letters, then you are picking it. The teacher will tell the child, write. No, that child is not supposed to start writing the letter. The child will have to identify the letter first. That's what takes us to child's activities. So when we are presenting it, assuming I am introducing a particular concept to you, is that understood? So in order for you to follow me, so that I will feel the pulse of the classroom, as I'm talking, I do formative assessment. I will throwing questions to you. As I'm responding, I will know that yes, the class is carried along. The child is supposed to trace. The child is supposed to identify before writing. Now, in tracing, because we are talking about children during the early years, there should be what we call the ability to hold the writing material. Ability to hold the writing material. There are some children when you introduce them to pencils. Some will hold it like this, some will hold it like this, some will hold it anyhow. So, good, the proper, yes, the proper grip of it, you see this, your index finger, and this way. Some teachers, when the child is not coordinating the fingers very well, they will hit the child. Now, at Anti Special Needs Education Center, we take our time to teach these children. We will place more premium on children with early years. So they push them to me because I have much of the techniques in teaching them. Now in doing this, the pencil, the whole pencil that is bought for the child, you don't need to introduce that whole pencil to the child. You cut it. You just look at the pencil and then into three, you remove it, then it becomes smaller. As it becomes smaller, the child will be able to coordinate to hold it very well. Because there is a communication that is going on between the fingers, the wrist, and down to the elbow. So, if the child is having poor writing, issues of dysgraphia, is it fine motor skill problem or gross motor skill problem? Even some of us who are adults, our handwritings are terrible. Is that also? Very, very terrible. But there is something you can see there about it that can be corrected, and you'll be surprised. That so this can be corrected. It's because when there is a problem from here, then it's a fine motor problem. If the whole of this is gross, and that's why you discover that when you just pick your pencil, please pick your writing material, the class please. I see you as my class as a teacher. Go. So now I would like you to place your hand this way and hold this place, or just the way, just be moving your fingers like this and hold this place. You discover that there is a movement. Is that not so? Yes. There is a movement. Yes. So there is a communication from here and this place. So it has to be really developed in the child. This child even if the child is good at manipulating objects, it's different from when it comes to academic activities. It's completely different. I was teaching when I was in Robochi, was teaching this adult literacy. The child was, I was teaching him, and then the mother came and said she wanted to enroll. I said, for you? I said, yes. No, that is the case. You as your son is finishing the class, you are coming. Because job cannot be the same. By the end of the day, the woman became serious. She started giving me assessment. After assessment, she told me that I don't write the result good. Then we make her see. She got the result. It was perfect. But that result maybe was written by spirit, not Holy Spirit anyway. It was written by one spirit. Beautiful result. There's something happened. During the assessment, I noticed that this woman was able to identify about 10 or 11 letters. 10 or 11 letters. This is what I just have the records. I filed with you. I started teaching her how to write lowercase. It got to a point that, there are some children you need to hold their hands. Is that also? Yes. So that they will be able to follow what you are doing. So each time she came, just simple thing like this, it was very difficult for her. When it comes to academic activity, it's completely different. So sometimes I would move very close to her, try to hold her hand to move it so that she could write. I felt somehow because I said, what if somebody comes in and they will think that I'm smoothing somebody's woman in the lesson? So it got to a point that we kept on. The summary of the whole story was that after 1 year, she was able to learn all this. 1 year was teaching ABC. Like that. So I taught her for 4-5 years. So I grounded her very well to say, I want to go and study something that will lead me to nursing. Because her husband was a nurse, working in private health care. I said, but the results does not qualify you to go and read whatever. After some time, one day she came to me and said, see, he came to Gwagwalada here and bought NC from NTI. And we sat down together, we killed it. But do you know, determination. She went into the school, got a point of teaching practice, came to my center to do teaching practice, and I referred her to go to early modern school to mingle with a lot of people. She did teaching practice and graduated with NCE. So when I was transferred from that place, 2-3 years later when I went back to sell my land, she came with her husband with 15 tubers of yam. I said, no, I'm not carrying water, I'm not carrying it. How am I going to carry it? She said, it's your cup of tea, you must carry it. So yes, you may think that nothing was wrong with that woman. Physically, what was wrong? But academically, something was wrong. That's when you talk about learning disabilities. So, when you have this, the child should be able to identify. When the child identifies, then the child should be able to trace. And what is this tracing? You are joining one point and the other. You have dots, like it's not just to join the dots. That's tracing, and you follow it. And in the process of following it, there are some children who are not following it very well. If they don't follow it very well, there is a problem one called eye-hand coordination problem. Then the child repeats, call us, identify again, and the child should be able to call out the lowercase. Then, these are the activities the child will do. Then what do you use as a teacher? As a teacher, you cannot just teach without instructional resources. We have graduated from teaching aids to instructional resources. Because as teaching aids, I cannot use this my sister as an aid. But she can be a resource. She's a resource now. She's a resource. Because with the aid of her interpretation, our hearing impaired brothers and sisters here are following. Is that also? Therefore, there is inclusivity. Assuming if she's not here or none of the interpreters is here, it means they are just mainstreamed, no inclusion. I don't know if you are together. So the teacher should be able to come up with lowercase board, flashcards, colored lowercase board, and flashcards. Sometimes after doing this, you laminate, and some of these things can be made by you as a teacher, tailored towards the interest of the child. When it is done, sometimes in a class, you just spread the letters. You bring them up. Look for letter A, and letter A will be repeated, will be written 10, 15 times, different colors. So why I am trying to look for letter A, this person may not even know how to identify letter A. In the course of others identify that particular letter, then she too will identify. So peer teaching peers, then the teacher's job is aided. Then when that is done, if it happens that the child has been able to understand just 2, 3, 4, you carry the other one over, you move to the next. After you have seen it, you will discover that there is nothing like with 1, with 2, with 3, down to with 10, 11, 12. So if it happens that I think my voice is up, the scheme of work and then with the resources. Then next time you pick lowercase, SKEB. Now if it happens that from here, in the course of teaching, do you know that this 5 can be taught even for 1 month? In some regular schools, the moment they have introduced children to some letters, after 2, 3 days, they must progress to the next one. They will not come back again. And some children will begin to have issues in those areas. And that's why you discover that children will be writing back, B-A-D. Some will be writing B-A-B. Is that not so? Yes. When you turn the other one like this, it becomes that particular one. Yes. That shows that that child does not understand that, identify that letter. So when you are teaching there are some children, when you ask them, do you know ABCD? Yes. Oh yeah. A, B, C, is that also that is Z? Because they know that after A is B. So it's a serial form. But when you teach in an unserial manner, then you just scatter this letter A, B, D, G, F like that. At the end of the day, when that child has been able to identify each of these letters, then you serialize. You put them according to their position after A, B, C like that. And then you don't need to tell the child this is A, B. The child knows already. I don't know if you are following. So if it happens that maybe 1 or 2 letters here were not properly understood, you carry it over to this bit, and then it is being added to this, you continue. And you must use the instructional resources. If you don't use the, especially children at that level, is the resources that you are able to employ that will be able to aid understanding. It enhances teaching and learning. And that is why children these days, give them an Android phone. You don't need to teach them, they will manipulate it for you. Is that not so? Because so many things are in it. So, and because of those pictures that they see, their interest, you understand, is attached to it. So when you are just teaching and see you don't have a result, then it becomes a problem. Then here the child will pronounce, will identify, will repeat, he will color, and then color the letter. In this process, we use LC, lowercase board. Then the child will listen, pronounces, traces, writes, repeats colors, and the same thing, repeat the resources. Then you follow it like this. At the end of the day, after teaching this, it may not be 1 week or 2 weeks. Then you have to combine the first 2. Look at them here. Then you review. You review. When you review, you will discover that a child may have problem with either 1 or 2 of the letters. Then you now focus attention on that. It is not how far you have taught. It is how well. It is not how far. In the Nigerian education, yes, as a teacher in a class, and you are resuming the first week, and your content, you have to teach this particular topic in a subject for 11, 10 weeks before exam. If it happens that you are able to cover 8 weeks, remaining 3 weeks, it is not a crime. You cannot be queried. When the school is resuming, you carry the remaining 2-3 weeks to the next term. But the inspectors will come and say you must. Then what the teacher does is just rush them. The teacher will just rush them. After rushing them, they are missing the basic content. That's where the problem is. So when you review, you now discover that
you begin to feel from the first stitching down to the next. Then move on. Now you use the lower case, then you proceed to this 1, 2, 3, 4, A, P, R, M. Then what the activities here allow the child to identify, to color, to trace, to look for it. This is a place where the game comes in. You may decide to spread it on the table, join the desk, spread it, then turn it up the way it is in laminated form. It's okay, come, you, look for letter A, you, letter D, you, letter E. You have given them a task. When they are busy doing it, you as a teacher, you are watching. The ones that are making mistakes, you know that yes, this one really do not know. If you are okay, look for letter L, another one is going to look for letter J because they are similar. Look for letter B, small letter. This one is looking for letter what? D because they are similar. You know that there is a problem with this one. Then you should be able to know where you are going to correct this particular thing. So the ones that the child is having a problem, you now pull those ones and then review those ones with the child. Then when that is done, you move on, you pick again, because the same topic, that's why you are having to do here. It's the same topic, that is lowercase. At the end of the day, you continue like that, then the child will trace, will write, will identify. Then he does the same thing, and then you use the resources. Let's move to page 4. Now, if you continue until you get to the final letter, there are instances that you will ask to review again. See review. You will ask to review. And when you review your letters, allow the teacher, the child or the children to identify, they will trace, they will write. You can now see that writing is now coming in because you must have built their writing skills. So in the nursery, the early years, because I have problem with motor skills, it's not just writing. You can give them stones, just like pebbles that you use to mix for concrete or whatever. Wash it very, very well. Pick them. Then you can have toothpick. Then get containers like this, whatever container you have. Open it. Just be dropping. As you are picking one, you'll be dropping. Number 1, it helps to control the class. Number 2, it enhances eye-hand coordination. Before you pick an object and drop inside that tiny hole, is that also? You need concentration. You don't need to be distracted. Then as you're dropping it, you concentrate. And then you make sure that you put it inside the hole for it to enter. And there are some classes where you don't have, some children are hyperactive. They can't sit in one place. You load them with some of those things. Before they will finish and start distracting this one, you have achieved the objective. Keep such children in one place. Sometimes the child will come, they will be telling you what to do again. They don't know that you are using a therapy for them. You want to do again. And gradually, I have this child, he's in the school now, I don't want to mention his name. When I was in the special school, 2017, they brought him. Small boy that was 11. So if you are moving close to him, the more you move close, you'll be going. As you are going, he's going. You are going, you go. The more you leave, you will start coming back. He will never enter class. So he has a multiple problem. So he will just move around. He put his hand at the back. He will just be moving around. Anywhere he sees this goat excreta or feces, the one that dries, like putting small, you put them inside his pocket. As he puts them inside his pocket, then he will go to say, come, you will be moving. You go to somewhere that you will not see him. He will just hide himself at the corner. Then he will start eating it like one by one. Second behavior, he will move from there. You know this surgical glue? This is like chewing gum. Is that not? He will move from one dustbin to the other. Then he will pick. He will put it. Some get sensation from some of these things. He will pick. So we put in between it. Some if it is too much, we will cut it, put in between it. Then he will be moving around whenever he saw an empty can like this. He will remove it. He will go to the back of where there is tree. He will bring out his mango. He will lay it inside. Then we start drinking. Especially when he has the kuli inside his pocket. So when this thing started, we now say, what do we do? It became a task for us as special educators. Because as cases are coming up, we are devising means on how to arrest it. So you cannot just go to the internet or Google and say you are getting a solution to such a thing. So ideas started coming up. What do? You have to arrest all the dustbins. Even if any dustbin must be outside, you must have a cover and must have a padlock. So containers like this you will not see anywhere. Surgical blades, nowhere. Those that have goats in the compound, you must take care of them somewhere, keep them in a cage. And that's how that came solved. Then we started running all that therapies like that. Is that same child that is in yesterday now? The child is in yesterday. Those habits are no longer there. But the element of hyperactivity is still there. So if you are able to achieve 10-15 minutes with him, you have done in fact
More than enough, sir.
more than there are some 1 minute, 10 seconds you cannot keep them in one place. Then how will you now teach them this? Because they are human beings, they must be educated and then they must be literate. They must not just come and talk as others are going, just follow them. No. It's not like universal primary education. It is not universal basic education. I don't know if you are together. Yes. So you move on like that, you review. When you review, then you begin to see where the problem is. Just like hospital. When you are on treatment, sometimes the doctors will tell you, go, come back in the next 1 month. Is that not so? Why are you coming back? Sometimes in a year you have visited that particular same hospital 3-4 times. Why are you going back? It's to review your case. So you review. Because you in the education sector, this is our case. When you review it, then you know what to do. Then maybe one man, one woman, or a parent will come and say, how can you be teaching this thing like this always? Because such a parent does not understand where the problem is coming from. He or she expects miracles. The result will be drastic, which is not supposed to be so. I had an experience, they brought 2 children, one man, 2 of his children. One was in primary 4, another was in primary 2. Just this that was a problem. Motor coordination was a problem. Eye-hand coordination was a problem. And I placed them on some of these simple therapies. The man said, you are collecting my money. You are not doing the right thing. So all the money I've been collecting for the past 4 months, pay me back. Then it was a new cheap. So he was giving 10,000 naira for the 2 of them. For 4 months, 40,000. The man started talking. He went and reported me to our church chairman. One day, the face that I just took his money, 40,000 take. Unfortunately, he was not there. And I met the wife. I said, please, speak to your wife, that's his nickname. Your husband comes, tell him that come and say, that money. He said, what's the issue? I said, if you tell him, he knows. That money, take. Yeah. But you know that the case became so serious that the school could no longer cope with the children. They had to withdraw the children from school. It's not okay, since you cannot learn, you have blockheads back, no problem. I will send you to training. And he ended up sending them, the bigger one to the mechanic, the other one to Abali to go and learn trade. 2-3 years later, he moved to the east. Somebody that is close to them, Mr. Toby, that is close to the family, I am telling you, those students never went to school. They never graduated from secondary school. You can see where little problems are. And you as a parent will think that it's not a problem. But you that is an expert, you have seen a problem there. And that is why a doctor will say, madam, this thing that is disturbing you, you need bed rest. No, nothing's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with me. Our church member died. The week is on first. Next week, he came back from the village. He was sitting down like this as J Junction. Then he started checking. Nothing happened. Him and left home, he started checking. His brother kicked him and said, "What's the problem? I've started nonsense. We didn't drink the beer, let's go." And the man noticed that it was serious. So he started reviving him when he was in coma. He came back. Okay, let's tell the police. Don't call my wife. The moment she heard that I was in coma and I came back, she will collapse and die. Okay, let's take you to the doctor. So no, nothing's wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with me. They took him to the nearest hospital. They said, "Doctor, don't think of giving me bed here. I'm okay. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm back." What happened, sir? When I just pour water on my body and made me wet like this, I will not go home to change. The doctor said, "This thing is serious." Then he was seeing it that it's not something that was serious. So he decided to discharge himself. But 2 hours later, he collapsed and he died. So when an expert says it is not yet time for you to be discharged, exercise patience. So we in the education sector, when you see a case of problem, because you cannot just be dragging with the parents, you advise them. Whatever decision you want to take, there is no problem. So please, let's move on. When they are done with that, then you proceed to assessment. Because you must have carried out an assessment on that child before you are administering that particular therapy. So you carry out an assessment, and then when the assessment is done, this one the lowercase letters, assessment of lowercase A to Z. This A to Z, it means you must have taught A to Z, the result also. You want to reassess to know if this child is having issues. If there are problems, maybe there are some problems that the child, later they have, children always have problems in, like letter B and D. Is that also? Yeah. B like this, D. They always have problems. Later what again? Y and G, L and J, P and Q. You can just mention them. Letter I and number 1.
M and W.
Good. M and W, N and U. They have issues with all these letters. I'm telling you, if a child does not have good understanding of these letters, it will be very, very difficult for you as a teacher or for that child to start learning how to read. Because it is a combination of letters that will give you words. Is that not so?
Yes.
The combination of words will give you phrases or sentences or clauses and then passages. Is that not so?
Yes.
So now you will see a child that maybe is 10, 11. He cannot read at all because of the age. You want to start reading. They are killing that child. Take that child back to elementary, where the foundation is. So when you have done that, you will teach all these letters and everything. This is where you do serialization. You serialize. It is here we are not going to today class. We are going to do. You are not going to tell the ABCD again because you have taught them at different points. You just write it. They will tell you A, B, C, D, down to the last one. From there, then allow the child to read from A to Z and identify them. Program the letters as well. Then what now happens? The child reads from A to Z, identify them, and then use the resources for such a child. Then the lowercase letters use one-way method. That was remediation. I wouldn't want to go into because it's a bit technical. But as you have the resources here, I will show you how it works. Then by the time you do this, then you can rearrange the letter. Maybe have A, B, C, D to E. Then the other side, the opposite side, you write it in a different way. And then allow the child to match. The child will, if the A is here and another A is here, the child will match. That shows that the child knows the same thing that is here is the same thing that is here. From there, you move into letter sounds. Letter sound and blending. And then from there, you are moving towards forming words. Is that awesome? So let's go on. Then, by the time you are done with that, then you begin to talk of going into capital letters. There are some capital letters that do not have the same shape as the small letter. If you are having, let's assume you have letter E, it's completely different from the small letter E. Is that not so?
Yeah.
They are not related. In cases like this, when you want to convince a child that this is the big letter E, and the other one is small letter E, there are some who write this big letter like this, they will repeat the same thing but in a smaller form for you. So now what you need to do is that you group the ones that are related. C, is that not so? O, C, O, what again? K, good, what again? X, is that not so? What again? S, Z. So when you group all these ones, you don't need to teach them again because from the small letters, they know that this one's the same shape. But it's just that one is a bit smaller, another one is bigger. So you remove those ones. Then you concentrate on the ones that the size is different. Then you begin to use your uppercase board. Then allow the child to identify. Then you will do what? Color, write, and then use the game and repeat. Then he does the identification. So this one that the child, allow the child, is the teacher's activity. Then the child, what does it do? He identifies, he colors, he repeats, and then say it out. And they like colors. They like colors. That's why I discovered that coloring, there is this Play-Doh. I think you know Play-Doh. This artificial clay.
Yeah.
Some people call it master sim. You can change it into any shape you want. So by the time you can give it to them to use it to form the shape of that particular letter. Let's move on. Then when you do it, I think by the time you are done with that, you follow the same method, you serialize, and then you continue. You continue. You continue. Then while you are doing it, now do a marriage of upper and lower case. That is when you will now say, okay, this is letter A, this is small letter A. This is letter D, this is small letter D. Then when the child has been able to have mastery of all these letters and can write the letters himself or herself, then we now progress into blending of sounds. After that, now we now think of forming words. And in the conventional way that most teachers teach reading is that they will say 2-letter words, is that not so?
Yes.
3-letter words, is that not so?
Yes.
4-letter words, is that not so?
Yes.
But without introducing 2-letter words first, you can have the mixture of 2-3-letter words and even 4-letter words, and you can teach the child and the child will understand. And there are some letters, when they stand alone, they are letters. But when they are found in a passage, they become words, like letter A. Is that not so? So when you see it is a book, is that not so? It is a book, it's a sentence. So the A that is standing is no longer a letter, it becomes what? A word. And then you put it together and then you follow it. Then you begin to form words. One is 100. When the child is able to identify this word, you can now begin to marry these words together to form sentence. And then you have short form sentences, medium form sentences, and long form sentences. For instance, now this is Jennifer, and I want to say Jennifer. We are going to read a sentence. I am. It's a complete sentence. That also. I am. Remember, Jennifer already knew how to identify what I. Is that also? And Jennifer was able to identify A. Is that also? And M. You are bringing the A and M together, giving you a word. Is that also? Which is what? Am. And you put the two together. You don't need to say this is I am. Jennifer will tell you I am. You can now see the reading has started. Then, when you continue gradually, then in your subsequent teaching, you want to increase the length of the word. Is that also? You can put a boy. So you now have I am, the other type. And then you are introducing two new words now, a boy, on the same sentence. From I am to what? I am a boy. Before you know, the lesson, the learning becomes interesting. This is where you were, and you are graduating from there, and then gradually. Then today you are seeing the boy, you remove the boy, you put a girl. Then you begin to use different words. From there, you now graduate to what we call sentence cards. You form it for the child, and then you serialize, you allow the child to start talking. When the child is writing, you begin to watch the handwriting of the child. And you now discover that the child is following the rules of letter positioning. Fine, because that has been introduced right from the beginning. If you don't follow the rules of letter positioning, then you see, look, these letters are writing. See, they are small letters, they are supposed to go this way. And at the end of the day, then you need to move the child, then you begin to form passages. And the child begins to graduate, begins to graduate, begins to graduate. A child is also two, should be able to read before going to primary 1. Because in the Nigerian system of education, a primary 1 child is considered independent academically. A primary 1 child, nobody will hold your hand to write for you. Is that not so? Nobody will hold your hand to trace for you. Nobody will sit beside you again the way the person was sitting beside you when you were in the nursery. But as I'm talking to you, most of some children, the way they are in primary 1, they are still having problem of writing. Is that not so? Yes. Serious problem. Because this foundation was not there when they were in the early years. And at the age of 6, the child who is in primary 1, is supposed to be independent in writing, even though he or she will be slow. So this is where the work of the body. And that's why the Mimijane Foundation decided that instead of going to the middle or to the top and begin to address the problem, let's begin to address the problem from the foundation. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Like I said earlier, it is time for us to make inputs, observations, questions, and maybe something that, yes, inputs, whatever you think that needs to be added, or things that maybe you think should be removed, or clarification on certain areas, and general comments, so that we will address them. Do you have any?
Inclusive education for girls with disabilities, children with disabilities, like from any age, that they should be in the same school. Before I go to the next question, I want to be clear.
Yes.
I want to ask now, talking about my experience. I was in a regular school in a young age, my primary school, before I had meningitis. So I was able to read, write, I was preparing for my written my common entrance. So before I lost my sight, I wasn't able to cope in the regular school. So they recommended I should go to a partially and blind school, which I went, and we were educated how to compete to be able to go to an inclusive school in secondary. So I learned Braille, we learned typing, so there was really attention for us. And when we learned that it was really possible for us to really code, we were built and we got into the secondary school. It was nothing different. We were really doing well with our other children with our disabilities. We even come at best. So what I want to ask is that, promoting this inclusion for girls with disabilities at a very young, from the nursery, from the primary. So how do we, navigate? How do we give attention to like a blind student? You need to know the Braille. You need to, as a deaf student, you need to understand, the sign language interpreting. So how do you cope in the same class, to build them up
So I don't know that you
Okay.
understand.
Yes. When there are no assistive devices. So in the presence of assistive devices, you'll be able to move very well. I remember at an open door special needs education center just where I did practical. We had those with visual impairment, hearing impairment, different categories. So at the special class, we have like 3 special classes. Children that were even crawling, they were there as special students. So now, when as you are having them in the same class, you are having different specialists. Those who are into education of the visually impaired. So the assistive device is there in form of a brain machine. Is that also good? Then for the hearing impaired, you see a sign language, because at that time we are still teaching them how to learn the language. In situations like that, everybody now learns the language. Very soon, sign language is going to be a compulsory subject in all Nigerian schools, at both the primary and then the secondary. Sign language. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. So everybody will have to learn it. Yes. Because these same people, they are human beings. They will go to the market. Just like Ambassador was saying, the hearing impaired woman will go to the doctor. The doctor does not understand the sign language. How can the doctor not communicate with the hearing impaired? She will be saying, "It's my stomach." Maybe the baby is not moving well. Because the doctor does not have an interpreter. Then who now helps them? I remember when we were in school at Jos, one of our colleagues, she's hearing impaired. She came to pay school fees at the bank, Sky Bank. Let me mention the name, old Sky Bank. In the campus, people were many. She was just standing. Nobody was attending to her. She was doing hand like this because she was not understanding the total communication. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Somebody from the banner slapped her. Wow! I was just coming in. The person slapped her. I said, "What happened, Oga?" I said, "What kind of nonsense is this? Woman has been standing and talking to her. She's not saying anything." I said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the manager of this small branch." I said, "Okay, you don't enter the gate." And that time I was the SOG leader. That's how we took the case up. So we took the Sky Bank generally to court. But you know that we won the case, receiving for the rest of the 3 years, the bank should be paying her school fees. And it happened. In our final year, I started receiving threats that they were going to rusticate me. Rusticate a student without committing any crime. And the professor they used against me was our Institute of Education, the secretary. So when I went for my results, he was no longer the secretary. I went to his office and he didn't even know me again. I said, "I came to show you my certificate." I said, "Which is?" "Oh, special education, 2-1. Wow. Congratulations." I said, "Sir, have you forgotten?" He said, "No. You remember that case?" He said, "Then you brought this." I said, "Because you wanted me to be rusticated. I have come to show you that I graduated successfully from the university." So you solution. The different experts are going to be there. And when they are there, they pull through. Now, let me shock you again. Now, what makes you visually impaired? You understand? It's when you do not have access to assistive devices. Your brain and stylus. What makes you visually impaired? You understand? Yes.
The society that.
I understand your
No,
point.
sir, what I'm trying to say now, to make it clear, we have the sighted students.
Yes. Okay.
We have the visually impaired. So, is it that promoting this inclusion, what you understand to be?
There is what we call
like different
there's
teachers.
what we call classification.
Okay.
At that level, one at pilot science primary school, blah, blah, blah. So we have children like that, primary school. Then those who are within 3, 4, 5, 6 years, we coach them. Then they learn. They are in the same inclusive school. Then there are some who have visual impairment. So when the time comes for break, when the time comes for hearing and sign language,
When the time comes for other training, they are classified. Then when that is done, they are brought together. Now, when you were taught how to use the brain, is that understood? You were able to perform very well when you entered the regular school, is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Now, assuming now something happened, it is not you that have the problem. It is we, the so-called sighted people.
Yes.
Because for instance now, if this were to be night, and all of us as students were reading, for example, statistics, let's say statistics, is that not so?
Yes.
And then the light has gone up. The school has refused to put on the jet, is that not so?
Yes.
With your brain, you are reading.
Yes, that was the advantage.
With your brain, what happens? You are reading. I understand the point. So you and I, who is not blind? Now we. And during that period, the blind, let me use the layman, the blind students, our colleagues, they were now reading to us.
Yes.
We were sitting in the dark. They were the ones reading. They would read the past questions, then we now discuss it. They will read again, we will now discuss it. So who is now living with disability? We are the one having the problem.
Yes.
That is how that is done.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand that.
Yes.
Any other comments?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so I have a question, sir. I appreciate what you are doing in your center. From all the stories about some of your students, I can see that some of them probably they have ADHD, some of those. But do you get any diagnosis even before you enroll them, so that you know what they actually know?
Yes. Even disability in that respect, differs. And I believe understanding what the problem is with the person will enhance what you do for the person. So is there any kind of diagnosis, or you just do it the way you feel? Okay, you just use your experience to determine what to do. That is number one. And I like what she said, because I wanted to say that I see like other clusters of disabilities are not carried along in the curriculum or in the design, because like what she brought in, it may not just be the curriculum, it may just be the device that the person needs in order to understand this. There may be a device that the person needs in order to understand this. A lot of children now, you see a lot of children now with glasses, but before then they will just say, oh, the child doesn't want to copy notes, and they will beat the child. And because they are hostile, even the teachers are hostile to the child will not be free enough to explain that this is what I'm experiencing. And another thing, because these are some of the little things that we can consider, when it comes to, disability support, academic disability support. It may be that that child is more comfortable writing with their left, but conventionally everybody uses right, and the teachers will even bully the child into, and that affects the child mentality. And another thing that we have to look at, especially when it comes to this, is also the sensitivity of those children, because we are all humans. Even as children, we are humans, and it may be that that child needs another, to identify with another event or something else that is happening in school that will help him to concentrate in his academics. Let me cite an example. I grew up as a person with disability, and just recently in my amputee group, one of my friends, in fact my best friend, was writing her experience of how her inability to participate in sports affected her mentally. It was then I realized that I also had that, because of what children will say and bully me in the field. When I come, I don't even go there sometimes, but when I come to class, the same trauma of the relationship I have with my peers, I bring it, so it affects the child mentally. So I think these are some of the things as an educator that I would like to shed light on, or to also take note of. Because some of these children can also learn from them how they are better treated and what they need. What is to what extent do we even get the opinion of the children, or we just assume what we feel is good for them? Thank you.
Before you begin to propose solutions, is that also? Yes. You know, issues of attention deficits and hyperactive disorder, especially with children with cases of autism spectrum disorder. You understand? Yes, you see it. It's just like somebody with an abnormal behavior enters this hall. You understand? And is working the way he or she is behaving. Do you need any diagnosis? From the way the person, from the way the person is behaving, you know that something's wrong somewhere. Is that not so? That is point number one. Point number two, at the cost of you trying to interface with the parent will tell you some of the problems of the child. Is that understood? Then, in the course of you trying to do other diagnosis or assessment, you now begin to link that condition. Then there is a relationship with this condition, just like ASD with hyperactivity. They are related. So a child with such condition will definitely have issues of attention deficit disorder. And some of the things that trigger this hyperactivity, number one, you see these minerals with gas, sugar, seasonings in our kitchen. When you are frying, all these fried meals or whatever, they are factors that can contribute to high sense of hyperactive disorder in children and attention problem. So a child that is hyperactive already, and then you are giving him Coke, Fanta, or 7-Up to drink, you are multiplying the problem. Because this also contains energy. You understand the point? It contains energy. And the child is full of energy. I had a child, worked with a child, but at the end of the day, the mother ended up taking him away when he was in year school. He was so hyperactive, and he will give you 50 naira to go to the school canteen and buy buns. When you buy buns, you will finish it, he will tell you that go and bring the 50 naira he gave you. That the buns was not enough. You understand that 50 naira could buy, so you must go and return it. There were issues. So how do you handle this case? Anytime he wants you to buy, take him to that place so that he will use his money to buy for that particular place. So children who are distracted are hyperactive. You understand? Then there are machines that can also determine some of the factors that are responsible for that. When you have analyzer, quantum analyzer, we use quantum analyzer to diagnose a child, and then it will tell you the degree of hyperactivity of that child and how you are going to handle such. I don't know if you understand the point. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. I actually learned a lot of things from the presentation. But I just want to ask a question about some of the things that when you're making some illustration. You talk about some of your students, some children in particular, that maybe their parents, for not understanding what you're doing as a professional, and they decided to actually their child or say that they don't want your intervention any longer. So I want to know, is that in place of if you have, as a professional, you have identified a child after your assessment that child is actually needed help, as a police, well, I want to know, is that in the place of the parents to actually remove that child, denying that child that service that you know that the child needs? So, do you, on your own, decide to just hold your hand and allow that to happen? And when you know that that child actually needs that help, and if that help is not offered, that child may not end up very well. So I want to understand from your own or your own professional way of looking at it. Is that proper, or is there anything that you can do in order to make sure that that child actually gets that assistance that the child needs, instead of allowing the fate of that child, to be determined by the parents? So,
Situation like this that he's talking about, all you need to do is to try as much as you can, to make the parent of the child understand the situation that the child is. Awareness, advocacy, you understand? When you explain to that parent very well, this is what it is. It's not that withdrawing the child will solve the issue. You understand? That when the parent has an idea of what you are trying to do and how you are trying to help that child, she will know. You understand?
So when they are adamant about it, what do you do? Do you just allow them to have their
You just educate the parent.
Let me
Just try
let
your
me come
best
here.
that
Yes,
you can.
she has addressed the first one. Then the second issue, the boy is 13 years now. 6 years ago, the mother invited me to the house to conduct assessment. I did assessment, and the father is a lecturer with Abuja University. So after the assessment and everything, I said, this is the nature of the problem. And the man said, okay, I want you to come into the house to be taken in. How much do you charge? So I gave him the charge. I work in every 3 months. Then at the end of the 3rd month, the contract ends. You renew again, you continue, and then we review the exercise. The man said, okay, the price you have given to me is on the high side. I will get back to you. I saw negative attitude there. So I kept calling. The man said, okay, don't worry, we don't have money now. So at every point in time, I was in touch with the family. How is this boy? He is doing well. After 6 years, the boy is now 13. The man called and said, some of those things, just like he said, you were telling us and now hitting us. Now the case is what? Please come back to the house.
That's why.
You understand?
That's why there's a saying that says repetition is the key. Keep repeating.
That is why you have to be persistent.
Yes.
You understand? Persistent in talking to them no matter how it is. Because there's an issue of attitude here. They may pretend to have positive attitude, but because they know that the child has this particular problem, they may not want to pay attention to it. The attitude may be positive, negative, or ambivalent. And when you are there as a professional, they may pretend that they give every attention to the child, and when you leave, you do the other side. That was the case of Sunday. But when you keep talking, just like preaching in the church or in the mosque, you are as a sinner. One day they will be telling you that you are doing. You are not comfortable, but one day the spirit will arrest you, and then you will come back to the right way. The man came back, and the boy is doing well now. After 6 years. So the last time I did the assessment was not I said, discuss with your wife what's the finding, and then forward your findings to me. Then when the man wanted to make me say, young man, is it how you people who are special educators are? You are not tired of talking. 6 years, you kept my number in your phone. Just because I was always discussing with the wife. You kept my number and my wife's number in your phone, talking. I say yes, because when you are working with the child, you are working with the family. And the problem of the child is also your problem. Because you put yourself in the shoes of the family. That is where dynamics of parents of children with disabilities will come in. Because a parent, a house, or a parent that has a child with disability is as wounded as the child, psychologically and then from the area of the trauma. So you have to be very careful. When you are coming in, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the parent. So if they say this, just follow them. And then you bring in pieces of advice, you cancel them. They then know the effects of having the services. They then know the negative effects of not having the services. Then they now, at the end of the day, they will be able to sit down and take a decision. And then to invite or to look for the solution. You may not be the person that will render the services. If they don't want you to render the services, you can refer them to another colleague that you know that can render the services. At the end of the day, all you are doing, you are collaborating because it is in the same ministry. Who can make
Comrade, I want to really applaud you. You know you are always appreciated. You are top notch. Your interventions. But what I want to say categorically is, please and please, as a matter of fact, in FCT Women Affairs, we have started, grooming people, task force that will be going after these families. We want you to be a whistleblower. Your identity will be sealed. Sealed. Nobody knows. Anytime you identify a family like that, in all honesty, some of them is ignorance. 2, poverty. Then 3, pride and prestige. How do I tell? Why do I say this? When you say ignorant, they don't know how to manage this child. They don't even know that this is a problem. Number 2, some don't even have money. They know there's a problem, but they don't have money. The other ones, political factor, my prestige, integrity. People must don't know I have a child like this. You know a case of a senator, that's the side. We are trying to come up with a task force. Please, you are not doing any harm to that family. Let me give you a scenario that happened now. 3 weeks back, my car was bad and I had to go on a boat ride to work because I had an emergency meeting in the office. When the boat ride came, sometimes some of them are friendly. We got talking, he said, now your face is new. I live in this neighborhood. I'm your neighbor. In case you want to go to the airport or anywhere, just call on me. I said, which of the compound? He described the place. I said, okay, is there where? Okay, yeah, that compound. One man died last week of a motor accident. He's a member of my church. He said yes. I said, okay, now people supposed to come to that house for a visit, but I just want the crowd to die down before I come. That the man that died has a child, a son of about 9 years with disability that has not gone to school, and I want to see how I can assist. There's an opportunity for scholarship. I want some information from the mom. If he's already in school, he'll be entitled to that scholarship. But if he's not, then he will lost out. Then we'll think of a way around it. He said, Mother, I can bet with my life. Maybe I'm talking to a different family. That family, he has lived there for 7 years. They don't have a child with disability. I can mention it, 22 Kubwa, Abuja, in 22 in Morton Street. I cannot mention the house number. He said, Madam, I said, okay, can we bet for at least 100,000? If there is no child in that house with disability, I'll give you 100,000. He said, Madam, I have lived with this family in the same compound for 7 years. They do not have a child with disability. You know, I'm mentioning the names of the other children. I said, wasn't not the man that was coming from Lagos that died with a Sayana? I mentioned the family. He said, yes. He said, Madam, maybe you're getting it wrong. I said, okay, let's bet. I brought out the woman's phone number. I said, yes. This is the woman's phone number. I called her name, the husband's name. He was my church member. I told him that I have also known them for 5 years. I don't even know they had a child with disability until this information got to me. There is even the woman that is begging me to come to their house to the age of that child. He said, Ma, if I found out that there is a child, I won't forgive that family and I'll give you 100,000. I said, okay, this is a secret aside. You go find out. He said, how will I go? I said, anyhow. He now called, this is why Yoruba people, he now called another Yoruba man who happens to be a family from that family. The more you are close to this one, do they have a child with that? He said, yes now.
Maybe hiding the child.
You never, the boy, he called the boy's name, described him. He said, sir, a woman told me this and I'm betting with the 100,000. I would like you to, I want to go to that house. And he went to that house in anger. I said, Madam, I have reported you to the police. You mean you have, the man whom I went on the news, said, not now that I'm bereaved. He said, the woman you've been calling to come and help you is my friend. And I ran into her and I was doubting, how can you put a 9-year-old child? That child doesn't even know the color of their compound. The color of their compound is in Cuba, a Morton Street, 22. Like seriously. So I told the man, keep your 100,000, be an advocate. that this is what we see every day. And when we tell people, they say, "But don't make it noise. What is this?" So please, be a whistleblower. You are protected. See, all we need is the information. Because these children, there is solution to every problem. And there is ability in every disability. Like I keep telling people, this is Chris from wheelchair. This is Florence and amputee. This is okay, visually impaired. If we have not gone to school, if our parents are giving us behind the back, we can't be here doing what we're doing today. Yes. For crying out loud, there's ability in every disability. There are learning disorder. Every human being has learning disorder.
In fact, that was what I wanted to say, that the ADHD we are mentioning, almost all Nigerians have ADHD.
So,
it's just that the
yes.
Just like that, some are
different spectrum.
There's an issue too I've been having over the time. Oh, sorry. Over the time, this issue of left-handed people. Parents always try forcing them to use their right hand. And some other experts said they are using their left because their brain is on the left. I'm not an expert, I need clarity on that aspect because I've always been an advocate of if a child is comfortable with left, let him continue with his left. You understand? Some parents trying to force them to use the right hand so that it will be a proper thing. But I've always known, for me, my little knowledge that is not right. Can you throw more light on that, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Based on this.
Excuse me, before I forget, it's also good that we let him understand that on the eyes of the law, those people hiding their children are actually attending.
Yes.
When
we meet with them, we tell them.
Yes.
Can meet them.
Let them know.
I think we need to work more with some of us.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what I want to ask is based on as family as a basic unit, like what the executive director said that if not our family really did a lot, they presented us well. No, there wasn't discrimination. We were able to compete with the outside world. So before this starts, is there any forum, or I will be suggesting if we can have a forum that is a strategic advocacy to parents with children with disability first, then if they don't agree, they will make enforcements. Because like she said, it's different factors that affect it. Some is by illiteracy. Like me, my parents had the opportunity to take me back. They were hesitating that we don't want you to go far. You understand? Until I told them they need that. I really want to further. And they accepted. But some might not really understand. Some might be stubborn. So in the educational system, is there any forum like educating or mapping out parents with children with disability to advocate them? Because some of them, they don't even know how to help the child. So to help them with strategic advocacy, then anyone you could see that is stubborn, you can enforce it.
Executive director was saying about hiding such children, right? I don't want to contribute to what you just said. Because why most of these parents that they have the attitude or habit of hiding these children, especially if the parents are well, they feel like the society say that they had this kind of child, maybe they use the child for ritual or something that makes them to have this kind of child that is abnormal. You understand? That's why they need to hide the child in the house. You know, apart from all this the disability or special disability situation that we have seen among youth, you know, when I was growing up, I read special education. You know, special education is an umbrella that cover every part of disability. You know, then when I was in school, we used to have both children that are gifted and talented. They are also special needs children. And there was one I taught full lesson for. From 2 years, he was already operating his mother's system. He was a gifted child. He operates system, he carried the mother's iPad, send messages to all his phone, to all her contacts on her phone, chat with her friends. They will think she's the one. You understand? Very small. But then when you just write the topic on the board like this, that this is what you want to take home, you already know what you want to say. You collect this marker and you begin to explain and begin to write. You understand?
2 years.
Yes, it was just 2 years when you started all this. You will find such children in the classroom when you're handling special children. You find them. Then you now still find the slow learners that you keep repeating one word for 4 months. That is the whole semester.
Yes.
If not even more than, you come and to teach them jump. When you still come and say jump, the child will be looking at you because they don't know what you're saying. So in situations like this, how do we manage these children? So at times, what I try doing is that when I notice, I identify your issue. I know that this child is gifted in this area, this child is this. So you try to see how you're going to work with it. How you manage them is, for example, that's gifted and talented child now. If I'm giving other children maybe a classwork to solve from 1 to 10, I'll jam-pack is on to like 30 or 40. So that by the time he will, and so because sometimes you even finish before some of those ones say. But before then, you will try to, work with time and okay, before you finish answering this question, others are already rounding up. Because child like that, it's still a child, so you still have the attitude of a child. So even when you finish like this, you just come collect the pen of the child sitting close to you. Is it this simple thing you don't do? You start writing and distracting, you finish, you jump to the next person. You understand? So what you do, jam-pack him with his own special work, but leave them in the same class if you can.
It's okay. Coming back to the issue of left hand, right hand. Everything we do as human beings is controlled by the brain.
Yes.
A practical experience. The boy is in the school now. The father brought him. I didn't even know he was a leftist. When he was in the going to the modern advanced for lesson. I said, okay, before I will do the lesson, let me do assessment. Okay, just give me 2,000 naira, just pay 2,000. I will prepare the assessment to 2,000. Come tomorrow. The woman now said, so if I pay 2,000 now for assessment, then how much do you charge for the lesson per month? It used to be too much. Number one. Number two, you are working with government is paying you and you still want to collect money for lesson. Yeah. The boy got to primary 3. The father came to him and said there is a problem. Because they have changed him right from the left hand to the right hand. And within the space of having 2 years, 3 years, they have changed 5 schools within that same small village. And because the teachers handling him were all right-handed. So a right-handed person cannot use the left hand with whatever to help the other one to write. So if I'm right-handed and I'm standing behind you, I can guide you. Is that not true?
Yes.
So this one is left-handed. I'm not used to left hand, so how would I be able to use one to guide you?
Yes.
They say, put it here, put it here.
Oh my God.
The boy was behaving as if something was wrong somewhere. Because it's controlled by the brain. So the father said he doesn't follow, he's confused, and that brings confusion. Because they are trying to change, you understand, what is the program of the brain. And they want to change it, then it becomes a problem. The boy became confused whether to use this or use this, and then if he's using right hand, he's looking as if you are going to, whether you are going to shout at him. He started using it and said, oh, that's what there's no problem. I'm going to move him back to where he was. And I walked him for 1 year, 3 months, moving him back to left hand. When I moved this boy back to left hand, oh my God, he started excelling.
Oh my goodness.
The father said, I don't want to keep him in school again. Just be running the lesson. I said, if I'm running the lesson, he doesn't get all the packages. He must be in school. Let him be coming for the lesson. When the boy got to primary 4, they told the father that, please, this boy is still intelligent, take him to secondary school. He came to me. I said, no. Because he was having issues of learning problems.
Yes.
I said, no. Let me manage him to primary 5. Before he finished the primary 5, I was satisfied that he could cope with the junior secondary school exercises. So he started junior school last week and the boy did very well. The father brought his result to the first term, second term, see the result of the boy. And they invited the father to give him, the boy, an award in the presence of the whole school, the junior school, because of what he does. So one thing is that you cannot just change the child. If you are changing from this, because you have right brain child or children, or right brain people and left brain people. And children with left hand are very intelligent. Very, very intelligent.
Like our gyms.
My son uses left hand. He just because the culture. If you want to eat food, you use left hand. If you want to do anything, left hand. Say yes, right? The very day I was introducing him to the formal system of education, I went to do it because before my children will go to school, have developed their writing skills.
Wow.
Before they introduce them. So the second one, the third one, the last one, they say, his father is a teacher, he doesn't have money, that's why he's still keeping there at home. I said, leave them. When I introduce them to nursery, pre-nursery, they say, no, don't bring this one here, move him to nursery 1. He's above this. I said, no, I know why we need it. I said, please, school authority. It's a left-handed person. Let him take it. Let me see the teacher. Teacher, we are colleagues. This is the situation. Allow him. As he's moving, I was moving with him until you see what he is. So it is something that if you notice a child that uses left hand, journey with that child. Because so many people have this erroneous opinion that left hand is even a taboo. You understand? If I carry this thing and give it to the left hand, it's the African culture. So yes,
So many.
it's a reason, right? What is wrong? Like I'm holding something with my right hand. Okay, take this. Right hand.
Right his hand.
You understand? So because of that erroneous opinion, they will say that any child that is writing with left, then there is something wrong with that child. So when we see such, we now begin to move against people who always discourage these children from using the left hand. Because the right hand is not meant for them. So allow them to use the left hand. I saw a colleague of ours, he's a special educator, and a special needs person. He's in Mimijane. Up till now, I don't know whether she's still in the school for the deaf. She eats with left hand. She has 3 children. She eats with left hand, does the necessary things with the left hand. The first day I saw her, I went to her. I said, why I like the hand that you teaching her. She was just smiling. She said, it's for my head. You can't change it. So that is just the thing. So we just need to support such children where they are coming because they may not know. When you discourage them, they transfer it to the right hand and then the confusion becomes. Learning difficulties will now begin to set in. That's just the issue. At the end of the day, some of them get frustrated, they will leave the school. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity given to me to talk. Though still on. The experience I want to share was when I came to Abuja. I wasn't married anyway by then. When I was teaching in Group House in Maitama, a very big private school for children with disabilities, learning disabilities. So it happened that the parent brought their child and hearing impairment to that school. For some period, I said to the child, I know that his only problem was hearing impairment.
Yes.
I suggested that he should be taken to school for the deaf. That was my private discussion with them. I didn't make it known to the school authorities so that I will not enter into trouble with them because I know that. So after that one, I disclosed this thing to the mother. The mother said no, that she didn't want the child to learn sign language. She didn't want anything like that, this and that. I had to go to the father. The media will go, an important media practitioner. He appears in the AIT, some of their early morning programs. So I succeeded in convincing him. One day he came, I took him to school for the deaf. He went there. after the whole thing, after the whole arrangement, went back home. The mother vowed that the child will not go to school for the deaf. See, madam, they are not doing good to this child. What of if this thing is degenerated? The child cannot speak, cannot hear very well. And you said no. She insisted on that. At the stage, when I was trying to convince them, I had to take her to one school in Jos. That's where the school is. Very good. Madam, can you listen? She said no. Up to this stage.
And he has his child with hearing impairment.
Hearing impairment. Can he speak? She said no. Madam, you see, I've kept her, kept him in between the hearing and the hearing word and the deaf word. In between, not, she doesn't belong to the hearing word and not the speaking word. Cannot communicate very well. I'm still following that, trying to persuade her so that at least you
to learn the total communication.
Sign language.
Yes.
It's a very hectic thing. Our women are good influencers of activities in our home, whether positive or negative. Another one is still on hearing impairment. We taught him at the stage. I don't know who went and told the mother this and that. He was in school for the deaf. At the stage, they took him to Lagos. At the tender stage, he will start hearing.
Yeah, you got that.
The stage, to my greatest surprise, when I entered GSS, the integrated school there.
Yes.
I see a very tall young boy. Look at him. I called one of the staff there, one of our colleagues, said, this so person, I mentioned his name. They said yes. Oh, the boy they took to Lagos that they would hear, they have brought him back. They thank God. I had to call one of our colleagues in school for the deaf and told her that this is what is happening now. She told me, I thank God that they have brought him back to where he will not sign language.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we've been trying as much as we can to make sure that things are done the right way. Even on my way, when I was moving along the street in Kuje, I saw a child with Down syndrome. I went to the mother and asked her how far they have gone with the child and all those things. She told me that she had taken him to anti-special school, this and that. First of all, referred her to my colleague, where he can get special assistance. But what happened was that you will bear me witness. I told you,
yes.
Told me about the district,
yes.
About their story.
Yes.
They are in a private school now.
No.
Where they are not doing anything.
They run away now.
They are not doing anything
yes.
to the child. I told them, say, why not take him to school for the handicap? They said they have done that. They said there's no provision for the lower district class. And they are putting him there for him to learn more things before they could take him to the district. They said this thing is not at the higher side. To say that the child cannot go, cannot do anything. So I'm still monitoring that too.
Continue to monitor it until we begin to work together.
The right place.
Yes, yes. Thank you
very
much.
Sign language interpreting. We have a viable sign language club in our school. Since 2009, when I entered here, we found that sign language club. It has been helping to bridge the communication gap between the hearing and the deaf students, and even the staff. Our challenge is now how to take it to other schools, so that people from other schools can learn.
And to make it effective, there must be a sign language expert in that school.
Yes. Our difficulty is that insufficient special educators in all these inclusive schools, and even in regular schools like clinics, you can see that there is only one person that will be handling all of them,
yes.
which is not enough. I suggest that Or maybe what you said now about confidentiality of information, we'll be giving you people information so that you come in and be looking around at the lawyers so that they can do the needful. This time around, Mrs. Joy, I don't know specifically.
Mrs. Joy.
If she can remember, there was a time they announced about sign language interpreters, how effort we made to make sure that she was involved. I know the reason she gave it to me, because we knew from University of Jos, we are at different levels.
Yes.
So, with this my presence here, I think we will continue synergizing, trying to communicate, to make sure that something reasonable is done.
Thank you very much.
I think my colleague, Mrs. Monsura, she knows what you are into. That's why she insisted that I should come in here today.
Okay.
To make sure that all the efforts we are making continue to move forward and never go in vain.
All right. Thank you. All right.
So, as a specialist in this area, I just want that can help us to achieve this full inclusion of children
The
with
best school.
yes, system that can help to achieve this full inclusion of children with disabilities. I don't know if you understand.
Okay, yes. The best school system that can promote inclusivity is the regular school.
Regular school.
Yes, because the world is drifting away from specially designed schools for children with special needs. You understand? Very soon, FCT School for Children with Special Needs, formerly called School for the Handicapped, you'll be seeing regular, what we call normal. Nobody's normal. Nobody's normal. So you will be seeing regular children admitted to that primary school. You'll be learning together in the same environment. So it's a regular school. And what happens is that you now have special educators who are teachers in the regular school in the presence of a resource room. Then you now begin to admit the children with special needs into that particular school. They sit in the same regular classes. They receive attention in the resource room. The teachers, special education teachers, render services in both resource rooms and then the regular classes, and then carry out advocacy, awareness, and campaign and others, and then what's it called, counseling services. Before you know, the whole school becomes one. But the major problem is that our government. When I was supposed to transfer from the special school to where I am now, they said, you go to GSS today and establish the source. I just went, they said, just tell the principal, we are going to call the principal from the board. Madam, give a room to him to start the resource room. No resources. The only thing just the regular desks. They are not even comfortable for the children with special needs. Why was I started? You understand the point? So you don't have enough teachers, and then some of the devices that we need are not there. But I know that Abuja everybody is trying to see education. So it's a collaborative effort. When we work together, then we discover that all the regular schools now become inclusive. Then with awareness, other parents who are hiding their children will release them into the inclusive schools, and then the society will become a better place.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, sir. When I said he was an educational expert, he started, he wanted to use time to launch. And thank you for those insights and for every one of us that have contributed. You can be rest assured that whatever that we've concluded on here or agreed on here, of course, we'll be going to the important institutions that need to work with them. Educational research institutes and all those educational institutes that need to be involved to make this happen. After this meeting, we'll be engaging with them. Of course, we're already engaging with them. But whatever we've agreed upon and whatever we've designed will be submitted. And I'm assuredly it will be inculcated and integrated into the education, general educational curriculum to achieve the goal. I want to appreciate us. I promise that we'll leave on time. So I want to keep that promise.
we have already, eaten into this time. So I want to appreciate us for our active participation, and for answering our call, and for lending our voices in addressing issues around persistent sexuality. It is a continuous process. It's something that calls for collaboration. I want to believe that we will still call upon us any moment from now to also assist in one way or the other in lending our voices to one issue to the other, our participants, and we are believing that you will answer our call as you always have. Thank you everyone for your participation. So we quickly take a group photograph, fast.